And on Twitter, it's at Invicta FM 989. At Invicta FM 989. That is the handle where you can get us on Twitter. And for the program specific handle, it is at ground 0247 at ground 0247. That's the program specific handle where you can also listen to where you can also follow up on what we are doing in the studio. My name is Ehis Adbon, and today on the program we shall be looking at the role of technical education in Nigeria's development, with a special attention on the government technical college Kaduna. Yes, that's the first item that we'll be looking at on the program today. And the second item on the program today is Ibori loot, the resistance that is trailing the reappropriation of the 4.2 million pounds that was repatriated to Nigeria from the UK, and all that is trailing it. These are majorly the two items that we'll be looking at. But before then, let's get to meet our guest on the program today. We have three guests in the studio with us. We have the PTA chairman of Government Technical College, Malali, Kaduna, Malam Abayomi, Mohammed Alabi. You're welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you very much. Hello, listener.
I also have with me in the studio a veteran journalist and media strategist in the person of Eddy Ochigbo. Eddy, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you very much, Ahiz. I appreciate my respectful greetings to the listening public.
Okay. I also have with me in the studio this evening another regular on Ground Zero in the person of Dangwa Abbas Danjuma, or Danjuma Abbas Dangwa. Back to front to back is still the same person that we're talking about. He is good governance advocate from Coalition for Leadership Empowerment Develop and
it's a very lengthy
CALPED. Let's say CALPED.
It is Coalition of Associations for Leadership, Peace, Empowerment and Development, CALPED.
Okay.
And a very good evening to the listeners.
All right, tongue twisting for me always, but thank God he's here to set the record straight for us. All right, I want to welcome you all to the program this evening, and we will be looking at details of what we want to discuss, so that even the listener at home can have a clearer understanding of all of these issues and be able to contribute to our discussion fully in the course of the program. So first, let's look at the role of technical education in Nigeria's development, with specific spotlight on the on the Government Technical College, Kaduna. Over the years, in the course of Nigeria's educational development, various forms of education was propounded by those that were managing the education sector in Nigeria. There used to be a time when primary education, you would have to get to primary 7, you do your 5 years in secondary school, then you go to the university. At some point, there was a harmonization of education in the northern and southern part of Nigeria, and at that point, it was reduced to 6 years primary education and 5 years secondary education. Even before that too, in the era of grammar school, where they had to do 6 years in the secondary school and also do their HSC, that's higher school certificate, yes, and all of that. Then in the late 80s, around 1988 or thereabout, there was introduction of the 6334 education system, where you do 6 years in the primary school, you do 3 years in junior secondary, and 3 years in senior secondary. while you now do 4 years in the university, assuming you are doing any of the regular courses, not the specialized courses. Yes, for some courses you need to do 7 years or thereabout. All of that, we are part of the system that Nigeria has gone through. And even in recent times, there was, though it was not clearly broken into different segments, but primary education was now said to be 9 years. That's basic education, where you do run it all the way from the primary 1 to primary 9 or JS3. It was not broken in separately. Then you do your 3 years in secondary, then you proceed to the university. In the course of the 6334 educational system, the reason propounded then was that after your first 3 years in junior secondary, you should be able to specialize if you're going to go into technical, commercial, and other aspects. And in the course of all of that, there were schools that were specialized. And one of such specialized school that has always been around in Kaduna State was the Government Technical College in Malali. And the school in the past have done so much. In the course of the program, since we have the Parents Teachers Association chairman of the school, he would give us some brief on that. But the important thing is that in other climes, China, Japan, and some other countries that took technological development as an important aspect of education, they were able to set up schools that things are produced, and these things that are produced by students in training and students that have been graduated are used for the development of those countries. Because whether we like it or not, technology is a bedrock for development in any society. And the technical colleges were one place in Nigeria where that was supposed to be. Because I recall that in my secondary school then, there was several laboratories that were set up. We had an auto workshop, we had a carpentry workshop, we had a building laboratory, and all of that. They were all set up in my school, though my school was an all-encompassing school. I'm proud to say that I'm a product of Baptist Boys High School, the only secondary school in Nigeria, and the others. Well,
thank you for promoting.
Yes, I am proud to say it.
Oh, you want me to blow that trumpet for you?
Of course, I blow my trumpet myself.
Blow on, man.
Okay, now, technical education, where it is today, how important is it to us, and what really has the government done about technical education in Nigeria? That will be the major area of focus when we come to talk about the role of technical education in development. Now, the second snippet, we'll just look at some details, and these details that I'll be reading out is basically extract from a commentary that's written by Yusuf Ishaku Goje. We'll just read through it, and it will give us some background on the need for this discussion. And going through it, he said the recent announcement by the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Catriona Laing, of the decision of the British government to transfer the sum of £4.2 million alleged stolen loot stashed in British Bank by the former governor of Delta State, James Ibori, to the federal government of Nigeria elicited mixed reaction. This was made known at an event that had in attendance the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, where a memorandum of understanding was signed committing the government to inject the funds into some federal projects, mainly the second Niger Bridge, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Highway. This indeed a welcome development, particularly that the country is in a dire need for funds to channel into constructing key infrastructure with potential to enable increased economic growth and inclusive development. However, the debate raging is that who should take ownership of the returned loot? Is it the Delta state government or the federal government? The debate is mainly online and offline, and everybody is talking about it. And there are different angles to it. It's taking a political, regional, legal, and even emotional dimension. Many have argued that since the Delta state government under the former governor Emmanuel Uduaghan had repeatedly denied that such funds were stolen or missing, with the State House of Assembly validating the claim. Consequently, the state government deliberately refused to cooperate with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and frustrated the investigation here in Nigeria. This culminated in a court case instituted by the then Delta State government and obtained a judgment to that effect. Based on this, King Watchers argue that the Delta State government has forfeited its right over the looted funds and holds no claim to it. Therefore, it gives the federal government sole ownership of the looted fund and authority to allocate and appropriate the fund for other purposes at its discretion. This is because the federal government was left alone to follow up with the British government to recover and repatriate the loot. The Attorney General of the Federation was quoted to have stated that it is to be recalled that the Nigerian government had all along provided the required assistance and backup to British authority while the prosecution of James Ibori lasted in London, and today we are rightly taking benefit of the cooperation. Nonetheless, the government's arguments advanced above is limited and attempt to stand logic on its head. This is because the said loot is not the personal funds of former Governor James Ibori, nor that of his successor Emmanuel Uduaghan. Rather, it is the commonwealth of the good people of Delta State. This is more so as the funds were looted from the state revenue sources, statutory allocation, internally generated revenues, loans, and grants. It is also pertinent to note that the fund must have been allocated to projects appropriated and approved by the Delta State government. The implication is that if the funds were appropriated, and then it means it has become law in Delta State, which is why the move by the federal government to reappropriate such funds to projects other than the ones in the state's budget is equivalent to relooting the loot. It does not matter whether it was utilized appropriately or stolen, as the case may be. The fact is that the funds belong to the good people of Delta State. Come to think of it, if the federal government can guarantee and collect external loans on behalf of the state government, why is it that it cannot collect stolen loot and remit it to the states? Indeed, the argument that simply because the Delta State denied the missing fund, they automatically forfeited the loot cannot hold water. This is because it would be totally wrong to allow Delta people to suffer the crime they didn't commit. It is fair to say that the entire saga is as a result of elite conspiracy driven by greed and excessive for primitive accumulation of wealth. Many forget that the then governor who denied the missing loot, Emmanuel Uduaghan, is the stepbrother of James Ibori, and also served as the chief of staff to James Ibori, which means that where there is a likelihood that he has hand in the missing loot, it is only logical that he will frustrate the investigation of which he might also be implicated. And the commentary is quite long, but I am sure we already have the meat of it. So let's go straight into discussing, starting from the role of technical education in the development of Nigeria using the government technical college Kaduna as our focal point. Malam Abayomi Mohammed, I choose to call you Malam Abayomi Mohammed because from all ramification, that is exactly what you are. You are learned, and that's what the Malam means in the first place. And you are a gentleman, which also means a Malam. Malam Abayomi Mohammed Alabi, you are welcome to Ground Zero again.
Thank you very much, Ahis.
All right. As a chairman of the PTA of the Government Technical College, I would like for you to tell us, technical education, first, do we need it in present-day Nigeria?
Thank you very much. Let me start to say technical education is the only solution we have today in Nigeria. Why? Because generally we know that the way the colonial masters keep us education is just a miseducation. But it is only in technical college that students, our children, have right to learn different skills that they don't need to start writing application after. They can just finish school, and be on their own. So technical college is exactly what we need now until when the overhaul education is overhauled in Nigeria.
All right. It's something that we need now and very important too. Okay, Eddy Ochigbo. What do you think why do you think we need technical education, technical colleges of education in this present?
Technical colleges.
Technical colleges, sorry,
yes.
Please.
Government technical colleges.
Yes.
That, thank you very much for that question, and the answer is not far-fetched because I'm a witness to what products of technical colleges in Nigeria, have added to the value of technology in the Nigerian state. From 1979, when, for instance, since we are, zeroing in on Government Technical College Kaduna, I just want to give you a perspective. From that 79, 78, products of Government Technical College Kaduna were part of those who actually built the Kaduna refinery. Built it and became operators and rose. Some of them went to become doctors and so on and so forth. But they were picked directly.
Okay.
From Form 4. They had started even receiving stipends, good stipends, for their books, for their allowance, for anything they wanted. And in 1979, when the construction of Kaduna refinery took root,
yeah,
it was the product of most of them were drawn. Most of the early operators and technicians were drawn from Government Technical College Kaduna. So to that extent, I would say that because the question you asked me is that why do we need? It is like the chairman of the PTA said. In fact, this is the time now. It is because we have more or less taking one step, two steps forward and 10 backwards that we are facing this situation. For instance, why are all your refineries, 4 of them in number, not working? It shows that these very products that, actually, became the fulcrum of the existence of NPC were forgotten by the way. We didn't follow up on the essence of promoting technology. So, if you ask me, I'll tell you that today, even the Government Technical College Kaduna, I'm sure the chairman here, who is the PTA chairman, who is trying to bring about some awareness and consciousness of even those who are now directors, retired, and all this, who are products, to come and say, look, let's do what we didn't do before. At a point, if I remember what the chairman was saying recently in a forum, he said the carpentry work of certain primary schools of North Central State or the states, I don't even know whether it's North Central or Kaduna State, was awarded to the college.
Yeah.
That is all the products, the carpentry, and other related departments. Yeah. Because you have department of electronics, electrical, woodworks, carpentry, building. They are still there, plumbing. I think. There are workshops.
Yeah.
In fact, the technical college of those days is bigger than some of the polytechnics that we have today. So I want to actually, commend the effort of this PTA chairman, who wants to draw the attention of the people that, look, this is one area that we can get human capital technologically.
Yeah.
Which is what we need more. So that rather than checkmate these products, we take them to the highest level, give them the greatest training so that they can come back to their own climb and if we have a turnaround maintenance, not be in the hands of crooks.
Yeah.
That will not take anywhere. Let's get the patriotic people, train them well. Let's not abandon them. What has happened to products of government technical college is that they more or less have been abandoned. Government did not follow through to take them to the right destination.
All right. I'll come to Danjuma Abbas Dangwa. I know you are into plenty of development works.
Yeah.
And we know that technology also plays a vital role in improving the quality of life of people, right from the rural to the urban areas. Now, technical education, from what we've had so far, is something that is desirable, and that we had all these technical colleges in the past working and being very vibrant.
Yeah.
Today, from your assessment of what the educational system is now in Nigeria, why is it that we don't place more emphasis on technical education like it used to be in the past?
Well, I wanted to first disagree with the PTA chairman, and then I will come down to answering this question. I want to disagree with him positively that technical education, as far as human capital development is concerned, is not just required as a necessity and fundamental for Nigeria alone. It's a global thing. Globally, technical education is that level of vocational skill that is helping to make life better. People have transformed agriculture to more levels of technology because they have that level of technical inclination. The deficiency that we're having in our rural communities, even now to have light, not electricity, light, light bulbs in homes, in streets, is lacking because of our deficiency in that area of competence. And how is it so far? Where are we now? I would say that the comment that we are not following through with policies is actually where we are. And that is why we are where we are. The entire people who go to technical colleges, like you've said, have finished their JSS 3, written that junior secondary school certificate examination, are literate in Hausa, they are literate in English, some are literate in Yoruba, some are literate in Igbo, as the case may be, but that they can read and write. And now they go to the level of doing technical drawings and designs, fabrications, and even inventions, if you let them. We have seen situations where a lot of people are being taken from their earliest years in some of these higher tertiary levels of technical education, like we call the polytechnics. They are being taken out of this country by people who seem to know their onions better than we do. And that is because we have not been following through with these programs. These programs were meant to help fast-track development, improve the resource base of our citizenry in attending to our development need. Now, why do I say it is global? I want to throw us back a little to the records that tells about the World War, how South Korea emerged from nowhere. South Korea came out after the World War, depending on her own resourcefulness as a state, relying on the technical capacity that Japan could provide for her to rebuild herself now. And today we are looking at an economy that has really emerged with very sound industries. And these opportunities were never lost on Nigeria at any given point in time, but for the fact that we never seem to follow through on plans and programs, that policy somersaults are the consequences why reforms do not seem to yield their results. And as of today, while we have government spending and spending and spending and spending, when you go around this institution, do you see the level of a capacity that says that you could actually go and find robotics as part of the things that technical education in Government College Kaduna is interested in? Do you go and see coding and computer literacy as a program that government is investing positively, with results? And that is notwithstanding that because we were not doing it back then, we cannot do it now. It is time for us to really understand that until we build the resource base of our people, we are going to have a population that looks like a liability rather than an asset. And that is what the technical education seeks to address.
Okay, I'll come back to Abayomi Mohammed Alabi, and let's still look at technical education and the role that you are playing now as parents of children in a technical school. I know that there are opportunities, there are challenges, and there are what else now? Potentials that one can get from all of this. Let's quickly talk about this Government Technical College Kaduna and the potentials,
the way forward, the plans ahead.
The plans, yes, the way forward.
Thank you very much.
Because we are really running
Thank you very much.
Now.
Thank you very much. Well, as a newly coming chairman of the PTA in the college, we took inventory of the school and we see that the government is wasting the resources there because the government attention has not been shifted from there. Yeah. There was a time in the old Kaduna state when it is Government Technical College Kaduna that built all the chairs on the whole of Kaduna state in all schools in Kaduna state. And the carpentry section of Government Technical College Kaduna was built from scratch to the end by students. We had an association meeting today, PTA meeting today. We were able to bring back an old boy who told us when he was there what happened. That was when the people are very happy to relate with technical college, and the children there are there. But now we came and met a dilapidated school. A school where government is not seeking any attention. Yeah. So our primary goal is to shift attention of government back to the school so that they will understand and realize the potentialities that lie there. For example, all this urban road that is being done now, they have the government can engage the student of that college and they'll be very, very useful. One, it will be cost effective for the government and it will assure that the children are getting quality education. So these are the kind of a thing. Now, the school, all the workshops are almost empty.
Wow.
The children does not have any, they don't have any social amenities to engage themselves with after school hours. Yeah. So they end up vandalizing the properties of the school, cutting the beds to go and sell.
As metal scrap.
Yes, as metal scrap. So these are the things we want to take a look at as the newly coming PTA. We are begging the governor of Kaduna State to please take another look at Government Technical Kaduna. Our governor is highly intelligent. These are the kind of things he was looking for. And I assure you, if he can shift his attention a little back to Government Technical College Kaduna, he will find that they will find the college very, very useful. Yeah. Because our aim goal is that in the next 5-10 years, the college should be upgraded into polytechnic because they have all the potential, they have all the workshop. All we want the government to do is please come and put some of this equipment in this workshop. That because we, the parent association, we cannot do all this. We can only do little things to assist the government. But for the sake of our children, for the sake of incoming generation, we want to make, the governor is working assiduously to make Kaduna great again.
Let this be one of those things.
Let it be one of those things that he will need to work on. Let him shift his attention to Government Technical College. All the departments of the college, all the departments therein, they have potentials that can help the states and the nation at large. So these are the kind of things we are looking of. These are the kind, we take a very good round school. We saw how the security situation of the school is so porous. Most of the hostels, the roofs are
no
damaged.
Or what?
They are porous. You need to be there to understand.
Okay.
Yes, they are very, very porous. Don't have security men. The one that government brought, they are not paying them, so they have to go away. Now the PTA are looking at how we can help the school and employ some of the securities so that we can, for the sake of our children. You understand? We have so many things like that. We want to revive the social amenities in the school. Why the students always go and steal it after is after school hours. They have a lot of time. They don't have anything to do, and they are full of energies. So if you have some sporting activities to engage these students all time, we know that it will go a long way. So we are just begging the government to see what it has on its hand and come and do something about it.
Yeah. Okay, let's quickly take some messages and we'll be right back on the program Ground Zero, right on Invicta 98.9 FM. All right, welcome back from that commercial timeout. You're still listening to Ground Zero on Invicta 98.9 FM. Before that commercial break, we talked about the state of technical education in Nigeria and the role that it can play in the development that we also desired. And our spotlight is on Government Technical College, Kaduna. All right, let's now go on to look at the second item that we have today, the repatriated Ibori fund. And the federal government allocating or reappropriating it to the Second Niger Bridge, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Expressway, and some people kicking against it. One of such persons is a member of the Presidential Committee Against Corruption.
Sage.
Is a Sage. And Professor is a Sage, and several other people complaining that since the money belongs to Delta State people, even if the then Delta State governor said Delta State wasn't losing any money, he's still part of the elitist conspiracy. Since the money belongs to the Delta people and it has been appropriated by the Delta State House of Assembly project in Delta State, it should be used. Any other use is illegal. So what is our position? I'll start from Danjuma Abbas Dangwa on this particular one. Repatriation of...
Well, to start with, I think CALPED have stated its position as an organization, and to buttress the point further, I will say that it is given that a founder returns back property to the owner.
Yeah.
It is given that these funds were already appropriated by the people of Delta State. How the people of Delta State were able to generate that revenue or make provision for and earmark those funds for the development that were sadly fraudulently siphoned out of Delta is not the issue of contention.
Yeah.
It is the fact that already these funds belong to the people of Delta State. And if we have gotten access to even getting these funds repatriated back to Nigeria, it was not sent to Nigeria, it was sent to Delta. I remember that the judge, Judge Anthony Pitts, who prosecuted James Ibori, one of the persons who was brought in as part of the witnesses for the defendant was John Fashanu. And John Fashanu spoke about how James Ibori had developed very fantastic stadia, golf course and what have you in Delta State. Given that those people may have seen that, the court, I mean, the judge said that he is not certain how you will say that golf course, FIFA standard stadia had impacted on the lives of the people of Delta State, whom the funds belong to. Now that the government have gotten these funds in, this is not just because if you follow through the history of the prosecution, it is widely believed that James Ibori had prolifered over $200 million out of Delta State, and now that you are just getting 4.2 coming in, I mean, the entire essence why EFCC and ICPC were put in the first place was to safeguard against such crimes. And these crimes are crimes because they have been perpetrated against the people. And when those people whom these funds belong to, when these funds are recovered, these people whom these funds belong to are naturally the beneficiaries of this. And that there is no such thing as saying you are giving even a kickback to say to FCC thank you. Because I don't know how the federal government is doing about all of these things. Perhaps there is human wisdom and thought at play. But I mean, as a nation, we are a nation governed by law with institutional frameworks to ensure that this kind of social justices are adequately made. And shame on Nigeria that Ibori had been able to ensure that no anti-graft agency could investigate him in this nation. Shame on Nigeria that they, rather than this 4.2 million, the 200 million pounds or thereabout that have been prolifered is not even the issue of contention. Shame on Nigerians that our system still allows for public servants to still undertake, do very big projects, spend so much of our money, and yet we cannot hold them to account for it. And yet the system will not even stop the stealing happening now, but will allow for other nations to help us plug these people back and plug from them and bring in. Sir, let's not go without saying that if you go through, because Ibori had lived in London, they have his cases from 91, 92, from when he was a cashier, thieving out of the till, credit card scam, before he came back and joined politics in Nigeria. But our system here does not allow for such tracing. And that is the reason why everybody does and gets away with it. And that is the cause of the rot that we can have in institutions of learning, even as we have started earlier.
Wow, that's wonderful. Eddy, coming to you, really we don't have much time on our hands.
I think Martin has stated it all. Let me just make some little additions. And that has to do with the alibi.
Yeah.
That simply because the Delta people, which Goje in that commentary addressed very, very well, that they say that no, funds were not stolen, from Delta. And Duaga, who take over from this thing, is a cousin, I can't know, or stepbrother and the rest of them. So, and Goje argued that commentary very, very well that, okay, do you expect this guy to indict his own brother? Even if he indicts him, he may even be in this scam, and the problem
was there a
consume them also. First and foremost, that may carry water in the eyes of, because I have listened to legal luminaries from both sides who are in support and for. Yeah. And fortunately, again, Shaiki, who is a professor of law, and is a strong stakeholder of government.
Yes.
He's the chairman of how do you get
the presidential task force of corruption, anti-corruption,
such a colossus in the government is against it, and he said you don't want to listen to it. So my own point here is that yes, okay, even if you want to redirect this money into federal government projects. Does it mean that Delta State don't have federal government projects?
That needs funds?
That
needs such funds?
Whether they have at all. Let me just even get that. If they have, then in my own opinion, I think it's fair to take that money into federal.
That's worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario.
If you not just give the cash, if you don't hand the cash back to the state. If you don't hand the cash back to the state.
It's not even the right thing to do, because spending of that funds already, according to Goje's commentary, is law.
Yes.
Has been established as law. Yes. And anything that is law, you don't go contrary to it. Yeah. But if the government wants to bend the rules, you bend it to the advantage of the people, not Ibori and his stepbrother, Aduaga, all this thing. So pump this money into federal government projects in Delta State.
081400989, 070-87800-989 are the numbers to dial to add your voice to this conversation. We really do not have much time on our hands. We'll just quickly do it. hoping that 30 seconds will be adequate time for all that are contributing today. Hello, good evening, welcome to Ground Zero.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Heath.
Good evening, you are welcome to the program.
My name is Musa. Let me quickly go to James Ibori loot that have just been recovered. I would say shame to Nigerians that don't believe that the president is fighting corruption, and shame to Nigerians that don't support the president to fight corruption in Nigeria. I think the recovery of this loot is called to all states of the federation. If they are covering somebody that have looted their phone from them.
It is the half-brother of the governor and his chief of staff that was the governor that covered his half-brother and chief of staff. The money does not belong to Ibori or his brother, but to the Delta State people.
Let me finish here. Whoever that cover corruption in Nigeria, shame on him.
Yeah.
That refused to help the government fight corruption. Whoever that said this government is not fighting corruption, he has been shamed already.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's a wake-up call to all the state government of the federation. If they have been covering their people, if they have not been talking about the looted fund of previous leaders, they should ensure that this is a wake-up call for them. The Delta State government have already written a declare that is an affidavit by the state attorney general that no money was stolen in Delta State. And at the same time, Delta State have never contributed in any moral ground to recover this money. So they don't have the moral ground now to say that that money belongs to them.
Those are leaders. Let's start more on his head. The leadership gang up against the people. They gang up against the people from this right up.
Protect the
I just want us to look at this perspective of the leadership ganging up against the people. The money does not belong to the leadership. It belongs to the people.
You are saying that the money belongs to the federal government.
Against them. The people supported the gang up against them.
And therefore you should punish them like that.
Okay, well, Abosawala, thank you. You've given us your opinion, which we sincerely appreciate. Let's take some other call. 081 40,989 and 070 989 are the numbers to dial to add your voice to our conversation this evening. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Hello, good evening. Here's an honor guest at the studio there.
Good evening.
Good evening. Quickly.
My name is Comrade Chairman.
All right, let's have your take.
I have to congratulate the PTA chairman, the Government Secondary College, Malali. In fact, many of us are children school there. And they were not only important to the refinery, they were also important to the textile sector because a lot of them were working there and they were very, very good.
Okay.
Secondly, as long as that money has been recovered by Nigerians, Nigerian money, let that money return back where it come from. That's my own stand.
Okay.
And this is what you are saying, second Niger Bridge, Kaduna to Abuja to Kaduna Road and others, were they not allocated in the budget of Nigeria? Are they reallocating them now?
Okay.
That's my own answer. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have this other call coming in. Hello, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Comrade Bako Abdul Usman.
All right, comrade.
As a student of St. Joseph Technical College, Makodi, we were part and parcel of the building of the Benue Bridge as well as equally done here in Kaduna.
Wow.
So policies and reforms in Kaduna, in the state, should be what is very paramount. And it is a shame on Nigeria that today our DIC, who is supposed to be an enabler for all those technical students to be part and parcel of the system, is not working. That of Brazil has been functioning. That of
India,
this other country, has been functioning. They were created the same time with that of Nigeria. It is a great shame. And for a Ibori fund, I think we shouldn't be running around what is not, what is elitist in nature. The money belongs to Delta State. The money should simply be given to Delta State as the case is.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's take this other call. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Liz and the gentleman in the studio.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
It's Francis calling from, sir.
All right, quickly, Francis, in 1 minute.
Honestly, the money we are talking about here belongs to Delta State, irrespective of what have transpired before. And then if mean that the government is fighting corruption is lying. The government is not fighting any corruption because they are not wonderful and recover here in Nigeria. It's something that is being done elsewhere. and repatriated. They only went for the money because they are not the one that started the corruption. So why would they take kudos for kudos? They are not fighting any corruption because we have evidences against them in their present government that people are more corrupt than before. Thank you.
Francis, you need to tell me where you carried out this your research to come to this conclusion. Indeed, I know that the federal government is fighting corruption. They may not be doing it to the satisfaction of many, but indeed, they are fighting corruption. We are actually out of time, and so many people are still calling, and even on our social media pages, we have so many people commenting, but unfortunately, what we are going to do is go to the Ground Zero Twitter handle at ground0247. We are going to go on with the conversation there, but right here on live radio, we may have to end now. Like I said, go to at ground0247. We shall continue the conversation there, and let's see how we'll come to a logical conclusion. I want to sincerely appreciate you all for having time to be on the program today. But in 30 seconds, I'll come to Abayomi Mohammed Alabi, Parents Teachers Association Chairman, Kaduna Government Technical College. Kaduna, give us your parting shot in 30 seconds.
I want to shift the attention of the Kaduna State government back to this college once again, because I know there are so many potentialities that are abound in this college. And I know that the governor is looking for such opportunities to put these children into positive use. So I'm pleading to him to shift his attention back to the college and see what he can do with the college. Thank you.
Eddy Ochigbo.
Thank you very much. He's on the Ibori loot.
30 seconds.
Yes, I will summarize it. I know how to do it. On the Ibori loot, and government is taking the stand that it's taking. I want to, point a finger so that government will know that two wrongs cannot make a right. If you say that the Delta people have, committed a wrong, and because of that you are not going to give them, you two are committing wrong. So I expect that the government should just, it's fair for the government to pump that money into a federal government project in Delta State. And on the technical colleges, I want to assure the people, especially those who have wards in the school, that they have a very, very strong chairman now as the PTA, and I know that with his campaign now, attention will be brought back to Government Technical College, Kaduna.
All right.
I wish to make my appeal not just for Government Technical College Kaduna, but for government technical colleges across. There is Government Technical College Kajuru. There is the BATCs across Kaduna State. And please, government should shift their focus to technical education and help improve human capital development that can make Nigerians and the citizenry in Kaduna self-reliant. And on the issue of Ibori and the looted, repatriated funds, please, government should do just what is right as required. I want to also say that it is not given that citizens will have a perception of government not fighting corruption, and that government will be fighting about proving to citizens with mere words that they are fighting corruption. We have seen cases where somebody who was supposed to contest for the seat of the Senate president stand aside, and then his case was withdrawn out of court. We have seen instances where people who have been accused, the NHIS is a case study where somebody who sat at the hem of affairs in that place was accused of looting funds, and yet he's still going about as a free man in this country. This kind of scenarios, as many as they dot, for federal government establishments across Nigeria, does not speak well of a government that is fighting corruption. We want to see results, and we are supporting the government to do so in every way we can.
All right. You've had it all from our guests and from the callers, and I believe that today's program has made us better understand these issues, and of course bringing to the fore what those that have been given the mandate to lead us should look at, even in the course of leading us. The program Ground Zero is a regular feature right here on Invicta 98.9 FM. I say a very big thank you to my guests today, Danjuma, Abbas, Dangwa. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Eddy, Ochigbo, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And to Abayomi Mohammed Alabi, PTA Chairman, Technical College, Kaduna. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is mine.
All right, I am Ehis Adon. I'll be on again on Tuesday, God willing, and we'll come with another interesting topic for us to look at and discuss. But between now and then, you can always follow us on Twitter at Ground0247, Ground0247, where the conversation would always go on. Like always, plant the tree today, water it, and watch it grow. May the good mighty Lord bless and keep us all.